Hey everybody, it's me, Lance Meister, Undead Viking. I'm freshly back from Dallas from BGGCON. I'm going to just share some of the highlights of that trip and talk a little bit about the games I played when I was there. Now, I asked a few people, like, hey, are there some games I should check out? And I feel horrible because, as luck would have it, my time was so short. I was only really able to play one longer game. Most of the games I played um, were of the shorter variety. Just because when you go to a convention where you're working, you spend 8 hours in a booth, and then you try to grab some dinner somewhere. And then by the time all that's done, you're exhausted and you don't really want to sit down and play something big and heavy. But I did play one big and heavy game, and that was Station Fall. Now, Station Fall is a game that Scott Alden taught to me last year at BGGCon. And it's a game that I've been meaning to pick up myself because it is that much fun. I'm trying to, of course, because it's me, track down like a deluxe copy of it, like the one that was offered in the Kickstarter. And I should have just bought it when it was there because I knew it was something I was excited about, but for whatever reason, I just didn't pull the trigger. As you may or may not know, I am trying desperately to get my collection down to a reasonable number, getting rid of games left and right, and that is my goal. So hey, again, goes out to anybody that wants to either that lives in the Minnesota area or wants to drive up here. I can give you a really good deal on a bunch of games if you just want to drive away with them. But anyway, what I'm getting at is Station Fall is a game. It's like a secret role game, but it isn't. It's weird. The idea is that there's a space station that is going to like lose orbit and going to explode, and it's around Earth. And depending upon the number of players you play with, I played with nine. We had nine people playing. Depending on the number of players you have, there's a certain number of characters that are on the station. And those characters can be influenced by you on your turn to do actions. And basically, you say, I'm going to activate this character, and then you influence them to do things. And then like the trick is that if you try to influence the same character that you did the turn before, you get less action. So the game prompts you to bebop back and forth among the different characters. Now, you are handed two character cards at the beginning of the game, and you kind of pick one to be your character. You hold on to the other character, so nobody can be that other character, so you can kind of keep that in your back of your mind. And if something should happen where you find yourself like if the game's unwinnable for you with that character because of things that can happen, you can switch to the other one. You don't you basically if you do can declare, yeah, this is my character, and as soon as you declare that that's your character, nobody else can take actions with them. But at that point, then everybody knows what your winning conditions are, and they can actively try to stop you from winning because of that. So you don't just declare right away. You want to, kind of hide that for a little bit. And that's why it prompts you to do other actions as far as like using other people to do certain things and kind of throw people off your trail. And the game is chaotic, it's crazy, but it's really, really good. And I won the first game I played with it, and I scored a solid middle points for this one. My character was the station chief, and the station chief basically wants as many people as possible to survive. And if they die while on the bridge, like basically they stay on the station when it explodes, they get bonus points for that. Like, they're kind of like the captain goes down with the ship type of thing. And there's tons of other characters too. Like there's a botanist that has a Feed Me Seymour plant. There is a space monkey that can run around and do things. There's the ship counselor. There's like this paranoid colonel that wanders around. There's this billionaire that can bribe people to do things for you. All kinds of crazy stuff like that. And I can't really do the game justice by trying to explain it all here, but it is definitely a rules heavy game that you will be challenged to teach it. But once everybody kind of knows how to play, it flows really good. So Station Fall was, as far as my games that I played, was my highlight. Now, I did take part in the BGG poker tournament. I've been doing that every year now for, well, as long as I'm going to BGGCon. The poker tournament, I like a lot of people when the poker craze happened, like me and my friends, we got together at my old one-bedroom apartment and we played poker. Six, seven, eight of us playing poker all night long, all night long. And then after I moved out of that, and we had houses and families, like we continued playing poker a lot. We don't play it very often anymore, maybe once or twice a year. We always talk about getting together to play, but it just doesn't seem to happen that often. But poker is something that I consider myself to be a pretty good poker player. Not, go to the casino and make a living off of it type of thing, but I can figure out the odds pretty quickly in my head. I can get a feel for the people that I'm playing. So I always enter that because it's a fun way to play poker without having to risk any money, and theoretically you can win prizes and whatever. And and the prizes really don't matter to me that much. I mean, it's like, oh, you can win a board game. It's like, well, I'm trying to get rid of board games, but as Scott said, it's the glory. Like if I won it once, I can say I won this, and you won a poker tournament with like hundreds of people in it. I don't know how many people enter. I think it's like 150, but if you can win one. I mean, yeah, so that would be kind of like a big deal to me or whatever, if I actually won it. So I always also go into it. It's like be like I have a plan when I go into play poker. Like, okay, I'm gonna play loose. I can play tight. I'm gonna pick my spots, those sorts of things. But I always have that idea, right? But then all of a sudden, like it's silly, but I like don't want to like I was like, if I think I have a good shot, just go all in and see if you can like build up a chip stack quick. I had that kind of mentality, but even though I had a couple of really good points where I could have pushed or shoved and come what may type of situations, I couldn't pull the trigger. I think it was some stupid like belief that like I didn't want the people at the table to think I was a bad player, which is ridiculous. It's a bunch of strangers to me. Regardless, I had fun. I made it past. I basically lasted till the last third of the of the people that were left. So I mean, there was probably just under 50 people left out of the 150 or so that started. I had a pretty good chip stack going. I um and then I had, I mean, it's the classic bad beat story or whatever where I think I had ace king or ace queen. I'm trying to remember exactly, but flop came over, so I had like it was queen something something. Yeah, I had ace queen. It was like queen something something, and I went all in, and I got called by like the one person at the table that had more chips than me. And then they flipped it over and they had like queen nine and I had ace queen. And so like, we both had one, pair. And then it was like, they got runner to a straight, to knock me out, which, is kind of like, it's just bad luck. I mean, it happens. I mean, I replayed the hand a couple times in my head saying, it's just like, well, what should I have done differently? But yeah, whatever. So I got my my poker chip that's your hey, you win a poker chip for lasting as long as you did. And I actually I left it I left it there. I just gave it back because I actually have a giant thing of BGG poker chips. So there's no reason for me to own a bunch of them. Anything like that. So anyway, that was poker. Okay, so the other games I played Don't Mess with Cthulhu, which I think is one of the better. Again, it's kind of like a hidden role bluffing type of game. Uh, and we played that with a big group of people, and I won that. I played a game of Werewolf because my friend and boss Josh said, "Please play a game of Werewolf for me." So there's all kinds of games of Werewolf going anytime. So. did an impromptu join into a game of werewolf. I didn't know anybody there. A few people knew who I was. Who cares? And then like I was just a straight villager. And on the second or third night, I was just chosen to be eaten. The reason was given that I was too quiet. Was the reason they gave for eating me? Like I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. And I hung out and waited to see what happened, and eventually the werewolves won. So technically, I lost that game. Um, that was okay. I it's one thing of a werewolf, like when you get eaten, like for like no reason apparently. Like you just kind of singled out because why not? It's kind of annoying, but for the most part, the interactions with the people, it was funny and it was a good time. I played a game called Surfasaurus Max, which is a game where you and another player and a dummy hand basically. I played with two players. You can play with more. You make a four card poker hand together, and whoever cards contribute the most to the four card hand gets the most points, and you just play that over a course of rounds. Uh, Excuse me. That game was fine. I mean, I don't think I'll ever have to play it again. Maybe it's better with more players. With the two-player version I played, it was fine. It was kind of clever, interesting. The theme is nothing. It like the theme has this Tyrannosaurus Rex on a surfboard, that was completely tacked on, which, whatever. It doesn't matter. The art was fine, whatever. Some people will be drawn into that game because of the Tyrannosaurus Rex on the surfboard, but quite literally, it means nothing, which always kind of turns me off a little bit. Like I don't. It just there was nothing to it whatsoever. Which is again, it's fine. It's just it's a big nothing burger or whatever. And like I said, maybe it's better with three or four players. I don't know, but the game was clever, and I dug the way that the dummy hand kind of contributes to the hands, and you have to like because you keep your hands going because you play a card and you draw one, play a card, draw one. So you hold on to your cards until later to make a better hand, sort of things like that. We have cool decisions as far as those are concerned. Which cool. Uh, and then I played a game called Flip Seven, which I'm sure all of you know what Flip Seven is. If you don't, the box says the greatest card game of all time. Uh, Basically, it's a game where it's a giant deck of cards. There's 1-0, there's 1-1, there's 2-2s, there's 3-3s, there's 4-4s, there's five, blah 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 blah, up until 12. There's 12 12s, and you get handed a card, and you have to say either excuse me, you have to stay or hit. If you duplicate a card that you already have, you're out. You score no points. There are other cards in the deck, like freeze cards that you can play on other people's that you can't play. The card that allows you to draw an extra three cards, so on and so forth. If you manage to play all seven cards, you get a bonus of 15 points for your round. Uh, and you play to 200. This game was fun. It was a lot of us laughing and joking and cursing our luck or cheering cursing our bad luck or cheering our good luck or cursing somebody else's good luck. I didn't win. It has the same problem that every single press your luck game seems to have, which is that there's the build up, build up, build up, build up until literally somebody is like right there and going to win. And so when it's your turn and you're not that person that's right there and going to win, the choice of what you do is taken from you because you just basically have to press your luck. You can't stop. I didn't see any rules in there that would actually reduce the number of points anybody had. So we got to a situation where one player was at like 192 or something like that. Basically, they were going to win the next time they went. And I was at 150 or 160. And it was just like, yeah, hit, 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 hit. Oh, I doubled out. I got two eights. I'm out. I mean, because at that point, there's like nothing you can do. And that isn't I don't, it's not a problem with Flip 7. Flip 7 is a fine game. I'm thinking I'm going to buy a copy to throw on as a stocking stuffer so I can play that with my family, which I'm absolutely probably going to do. But it is not a game that has big decisions, but that's okay. It's just a simple little game. It's fun. Doesn't matter. And then the last game I played was a game called Chronologic, Kronologic. And this is kind of this is by the same designer of the Turing Project, which came out last year, I believe, or 2 years ago. And it is basically a deduction game. It's like Clue on steroids. You get told at the beginning that a person has died, and it's one of the six characters that you're allowed. There are six rooms, there are six characters, and there's six times, and you have to basically deduce who killed the character that died. And you do the in the case that I did, because there's separate cases. It isn't a randomly generated case that you have to do. There are cases that are presented to you. The case that we had was the detective character was poisoned and died in their sleep. So we had to figure out the way we had to figure out is like the detective at some point over 6 hours was at a opera or something, and then they were alone in a room with one character at one point during the entire time, and that was the person that poisoned them. And on your turn, you basically choose an action which says you pick a character and you like pick a room or something, and then you have these two pieces of cardboard that you put together, and it gives you a clue that only you know that you scribble off on your sheet of paper, or it gives you, and then it gives you a clue that everybody gets. That's more general. And using these clues, you eventually funnel down into deciding, okay, this person was finally alone with this person in this room at this time. And um, the game was good. It was one of those things where it kind of like basically on your turn, like if you want to guess, you write down your guess and then you flip the thing that you look at the answer in the booklet that's given for that particular case, and then it tells you what the answer is. And then if you're right, you say I won, and you show what you wrote down, and you show the thing. If you're wrong, you say I'm wrong, and I'm out. And then so we started with 4 players. It got down to 2 players. I was funneling down. I had a pretty good guess. I had basically had to ask one or two more questions, and the person that I was playing took a stab at it and got it right and won. I don't know. It was clever. I remember trying to play the Turing Machine and not really enjoying it. It was just like too much. It made me feel stupid, which you never want to play a game that makes you feel stupid. But this one made me feel clever because I was on the right path. I would like to try it again, basically to see if it's got the same thing, but who knows? I mean, I don't even know if it's out yet. I mean, I think it was a Essen release, and I don't know if it's being going to be over the US. But if you're into deduction games or you want a game that's basically a Clue on steroids, that's something maybe you want to check out. Other than that, BGGCon was really fun. Those are the games I played. I didn't really get a chance to play many. Talked to a lot of people. There were a lot of people that are part of the Gray Fox Games Discord that came by and said hi. Fans of our games at Gray Fox came by the booth and said hi. That was awesome. If you're going to be at PAX Unplugged, I would love for you to stop by and say hi. That would be cool. I had some wonderful meals with some wonderful people, good friends that I made in the industry over the past 10, 11 years. And that was really nice. It felt, good to be kind of like to have that community feeling, if you will. I watched Grant Lyons. I watched his stand-up show, which is funny as always. He's a good guy. If you haven't had a chance to see him do his stand-up, his board game stand-up themed stuff, please check that out. It's quite funny. But yeah, that was BGGCon. If you were a BGGCon, tell me what your coolest thing that happened to you was. Tell me what games you played. If you're gonna be at PAX Unplugged, let me know. But other than that, next week, I'll be back with something new as far as these things go. And thanks for taking the time to watch this. Hit the old like button, the subscribe, the bell, whatever. Do those things for me. I'd really appreciate it. And leave a comment below so I can respond to it. I'll respond to every single one. So if you want an interaction with me, that's a good way to do it. All right. Take care now.